Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So I'm bringing back Trickstars this time around. I made some slight changes, mostly in the side deck, but a few changes in the main deck as well. But overall, it's still the same deck as I had it last time. It has some of the new support cards from Savage Strike, like Carobane and Live Stage. So yeah, I thought it was this is a pretty solid deck. It's still very good actually in this meta. Has a really powerful Sky Striker, Ultrageist, and a potentially Salamangreat matchup if you can manage to disrupt them. As long as you go first and you can like start banishing some of their resources, it can really make it hard for them to really win over. But yeah, I think Trickstars is still like probably one of the top 5 best decks in my opinion. It's just got a lot of good things going for it. Yeah, Scapegoat's at 1, but that's not the deck's only win condition. It has other win conditions, and depending on like how you play it and how you built it, will pretty much should get you like a top spot at a regional or locals. Maybe at a YCS if you just play smartly, but yeah. Anyway, let me just show you what I got, and yeah, hopefully you guys will enjoy this. So of course, starting out, going to be playing 3 Trickstar Candina. This is basically your Stratos, and it burns your opponent for any time he activates a spell or trap. 3 Licorice, burns your opponent for every time he adds a card to his hand, and its quick effect is that you can reveal this card, target 1 Trickstar monster you control, bounce it back to your hand, and special summon this card in its place. 2 copies of Trickstar Carobane. I don't like to see it too often, but I want to see it often enough. Mostly I want to search it out. But if I do open up with it, and if I have some of my other combo pieces, then yeah, it's fine. So this card is a free summon, and it's also an honest. And each effect can only be used once per turn, but you can easily recur this card fairly easily, so I think 2 is more than enough. I think 3 is too bricky. And then lastly, 1 copy of Trickstar Lilybill. Like Corobane, you don't really want to see it too often. You'd rather search it out, because if this card is added to your hand, except by drawing, you can special summon it. And this card can also attack your opponent directly, and if it does battle damage, you can add any of your Trickstar monsters that are in your grave, add them back to your hand. So, really amazing card, and yeah. So that's pretty much it for the Trickstar monsters. So moving on for my side engines, I'm playing a Cyber Dragon engine of 3. Great card going second. So as long as your opponent controls a monster and you control none, summon it for free. And you just make if your opponent happens to have a Link monster, you could just go for Chimera Tech Mega Fleet. And it's also good against Sky Strikers because I think all the Link monsters, I'm pretty sure, are all machine types. So you can go for Fortress Dragon as well, so pretty busted. Next up, for free spot removal, Eater Millions. It's a good way to out Boral Sword and Borreload Dragon. So yeah, Eater Millions, definitely an amazing card. It just devastates your opponent so much if by banishing their cards face down, so they don't have any access of getting them back other than Necroface. But the only deck that'll run that is Grand Maju decks. So yeah. All right, so for hand traps, I'm playing 9 in total. Playing, of course, Ash Blossoms. It's a common now, so you can actually get them off the Soulburner structure deck. So there's no reason not to have these anymore. 3 Effect Veilers. Really good just to negate effects. And it's not a once per turn, so in case your opponent tries to hit you with a Call by the Grave and you happen to have a second one in hand, just chain off of that. And triple draw. Definitely a great card against Danger Thunder. Just like, as soon as they activate a Danger Monster's effect, as soon as it resolves, hit them with this and your opponent's screwed. And then if you happen to have Reincarnation set, play it, and then, you know, not only he loses his entire hand, so he can't add any cards, and he can't redraw from the Reincarnation effect. Alright, so moving on to spells. Triple Light Stage searches out your Trickstar monsters. The ones you mostly want to aim for are either Candina or Licorice. Sometimes Lilybill at late game, or even Corobane if you already have some of your combo pieces. 2 Live Stages. This card is a really good card actually. Some people tend to underestimate it. This helps you recur your resources, like your Candina, in case you need to get another normal summon out without wasting it with Lilybill or something. Or bring back your Corobane. And this also has a token generator effect, but it does have a restriction where you can only special summon Trickstar monsters for the duration of the turn. But if that's all you're able to summon anyway, then go ahead and do the token generator. So as long as your opponent controls a spell or trap, you can produce a token, and if you control a Link monster, a Trickstar Link monster, you can produce a token. So it comes in handy both ways or another. And of course, to search out our field spells, we got 2 copies of Terraforming. Pretty standard. Next up, 3 copies of Called by the Grave. Since my deck does a lot of searching, I also run Pot of Desires, which comes to our next card. 2 copies of Pot of Desires. You don't want Ash or Droll and Lockbird to hit you because some people are starting to main deck Droll and Lockbird again. But Ash is the one that really hurts my Pot of Desires play, so I want to get my +1, you know? And then our 1 of Scapegoat. I mean, again, it's not the only deck's win condition, but if you can pull this off, then great. You just set this during your own turn. At the end of your opponent's turn, activated, you produce 4 tokens, and then you can go into a Borlo Dragon next turn, or even a Topologic Bomber Dragon if you wanted. And then for the only traps I'm running, 3 Trickstar Reincarnation. Best trap in the entire deck. If not the only trap in the entire deck. Alright, so moving on to the extra deck, I'm playing 1 copy of Trickstar Holly Angel. Just requires 2 Trickstar monsters. Burns damage for every Trickstar monster that gets summoned to her Link Arrows, and it comes in handy with the live stage too now that we have a token generator effect, and she gains power. 1 Trickstar Divaritas, which is really good right now because, like, against decks that really turbo out by summoning so many monsters, Divaritas does this. So when it's summoned, you burn your opponent for 200 points of damage, and each time your opponent normals or special summons a monster, you inflict 200 points of damage, and with light stage, that can be pretty nasty. 1 Trickstar Crimson Heart. This is kind of a 1 Day of Peace type of card. You discard 1 Trickstar card. Both players draw 1 card, but if your points are higher than your opponent's by 2,000, you get to draw 2 cards. So you get a +1 more than your opponent does. And yeah, it's just not too bad. And also has an ability where you can replenish your life points, so not too bad. So yeah. 1 Link Spider, 1 Link Karibo, and Mrs. Radiant. This is primarily for our Scapegoat play. As of course, we got an Underclock Taker as well. Let's see. We got the Nightmares, Phoenix, and Unicorn. Back row seems to be more important, and Unicorn is just like non-destruction removal. But non-targeting destruction removal, we also got Ningirasu, so this also comes in handy. Topologic Trisbana, just to banish all spells and traps if you special summon a monster to one of its Link Arrows. But it also comes in handy for time rules, so Trisbana definitely a must-have. 1 Bomber Dragon, and then lastly 1 Borlo Dragon. So, all really important pieces. And for the last 2 cards, of course, to go with our Cyber Dragons, we got Fortress Dragon. If we happen to actually go against a Cyber Dragon player, this literally just OTKs your opponent potentially with 1 shot if he's filled his board with so many machine monsters. And of course 1 Mega Fleet Dragon. Just to deal with like problematic extra deck monsters. Alright, so moving on to the side deck. I'm playing, of course, 3 copies of Dino Wrestler Pankratops. This card is broken. Really good against Sky Strikers. It's kind of pointless for them to hit it with Widow Anchor because you could just tribute it off, pop another card, and your opponent basically just negged 1. Well, neg 2 if the ability goes through. Also good against dealing with Floodgate cards. Yeah, so I don't want like cards like Imperial Order to hit me at all. Next up, Shared Ride, which is really good against the Salamangreat matchup because, you know, they do a lot of searching and a lot of recurring from their grave back to hand, so Shared Ride definitely helps that out. And also really good against Sky Strikers too. Next up, Cosmic Cyclone. I'm willing to pay the 1,000 life points just to banish a spell or trap, again, depending on how problematic the card can be, like Multi-Roll, Ultrageist Protocol. You definitely want to get rid of those as quickly as you can. 3 goes in match. Since, you know, my deck is primarily light attribute with the exception of Eater of Millions. So, like, I know against Danger Thunder they can play around goes in match, but if they play light monsters first and you hit this, that means they're only going to be able to play light monsters because their dark monsters are the ones that really turbo off more. So, I think, so goes in match is kind of iffy, but, you know, it just really depends on your matchup. But it really shuts down Ultra Guys because they're all different attributes. Now, this is a new tech piece, and this just goes against anything, really. I'm playing Grand Horn of Heaven. I've actually seen this in one Salamangreat build, but I wanted to try it out for myself in Trickstars. So, during your opponent's main phase, you know, when they special summon a monster, primarily from the extra deck or something, negate the summon, and they get to draw a card, but their main phase immediately comes to an end, so they have to strictly go into their battle phase. So, like, let's say, for example, they went for a Boral Sword. It requires so many resources, you hit it with that Grand Horn of Heaven, they lose their main phase and their Boral Sword. They have to go into a battle phase, and if they have nothing to attack with, they immediately go for main phase 2. Now, if they can still try it again, luckily Grand Horn of Heaven is not a hard once per turn, so if you activate it again, that means it immediately goes into their end phase, and you can just pretty much OTK your opponent at the start of your, well, basically on your next turn. So I think Grand Horn of Heaven may actually see a lot of play this format, so definitely give it a try for yourself, see how you guys like it, and yeah, just let me know what you think. Well, anyway, that's it for today, and I'll catch you guys again on the next video.